Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Melissa's Tabletop Talk. And this week we've got Elies here, who is a transformational and mindfulness coach.
Hello, thanks for having me here, Melissa.
Yes, so today Elies is going to talk about how we are our own worst enemy and we create our own emotional prison. So, Elies, I know that you've come a lot of clients, and that's why we came upon this topic. You see this as a common issue and problem with a lot of your clients, right? So, what examples do you have about how we create our own prison or emotional prison in a sense?
Alright, I will use a very simple example in relation to Wellness Insider anyway, because you guys talk about body confidence.
Yes.
So the most standard and easy to understand is to look like everyone wants to look like the cover girl in the magazine, but they forget about the Photoshop. And
Photoshop, the hard work in the gym.
Yeah, and the
smoking.
Sometimes it's
not eating.
It's not even that, it's really the Photoshop.
Yes,
you'll be
Photoshop.
surprised how much Photoshop is going on in there.
People, I cannot repeat this enough, but Photoshop is a lovely tool. We all love it, and we all know that I think 100%, 100%, if not 99% of all photos that go up on your covers are Photoshopped.
Yes, it's true. Even we all know that. So we tend to have perceptions on what is right, what is wrong, and we give meaning and fulfillment to certain things, but not based on our true self, but rather on what people tell us. And then we have these standards that says that okay, I must be like that, but be like this, and then unknowingly we literally put ourselves in a prison, like invisible prison, whereby you are actually imprisoning yourself with all these beliefs that are not true. We are born with a diamond sparkle of who we truly are, and we know exactly what we want. So for example, what is my definition of beautiful will be different from you, but because society says that maybe a woman cannot have short hair, so then maybe I have a long hair but I never feel comfortable with it, for example.
I see.
Yeah, so that is throughout times we have this idea of what is beautiful, what is perfect, and it includes also what your ex-boyfriend tell you what is perfect, and that also goes into your list. So over time, you kind of have an operating manual that is your life gadget. I must be like that. I must be like that. Yeah. So when you are out of the manual, you are wrong.
I see.
But that manual is your prison.
Ah, okay. But that's external in, right? But what about, because some people say that, we are such drama queens or drama kings sometimes, and it's like we create this own internal, emotional BS, whatever you want to call it, right? So,
I love that.
Yeah, I don't want to do the beep beep thing, so that's yeah, so how then, from the inner, and we create the barrier, how does that happen then?
Well, the thing about the inner is that it's usually most people react from the external, which is why I address that part. And the inner part is really a lot to do with self-esteem in relation to this example, for example. So this is actually a topic we will cover more next week regarding, shining your own worth. And it's most of the time it's because I'm not good enough. And these are the external checklists that we use to derive our own self of perfect and good enough, instead of owning our true worth and understanding that it is inner out.
I see. Okay. And sometimes we also are, as I said, worst enemy. We do our own self-fulfilling prophecies, right? So one example that I can think of is the cycle of depression when it comes to being overweight. You think that people say that you're overweight and therefore you're ugly, and so you turn to food for comfort because especially for fast food. I read this article about a month ago that said that the most, besides putting on the weight, another thing that fast food leads to is depression, because you feel fat, you look for comfort. What do you go to? Comfort foods, which are actually high in fat, sugar, and salt. And that makes you put on even more weight, and then it's a vicious circle, as I said, because you feel worse about yourself, right? Because you are putting on more weight and you're not getting healthier, etc. Right? So yeah, how then do we break? Yeah, are there other examples of how we are, doing all this emotional roller coaster?
Well, this is what I usually call like inner world and outer world. So inner world is like the mindset and the emotions. The outer world is the external factor. For example, in this case will be the food that you choose, the strategy. What is the 7 steps to have a healthy diet, whatever you want to call that. However, above it all, what is really important that I truly believe is the inner work. So in regards with comfort food, is actually emotional attachment. So usually everyone has, what is your own comfort food?
Actually, my comfort food is not very unhealthy.
Oh, that's very good.
Because to me, comfort food is related to, as you say, it's an emotional thing, right? So it's like food that my grandma used to cook when I was sick.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, usually, when you're sick. And then, so comfort food is like chicken soup, or the chicken macaroni.
That is healthy.
Yeah, because that's what like my grandma used to cook.
Okay.
So
you are the exception for this.
I'm not the exception. I'm not the exception because there was once I went out with a few friends and I was sick, you see. So we went out for food and I said that I need comfort food. And to me, when I'm sick and I want to have comfort food, is porridge.
Okay.
And I'm like typical Asian. That's when I go all Asian and I want porridge.
This is funny because I'm like opposite of you.
Okay.
Because I associate a porridge with sickness, I don't like to eat porridge.
Oh, okay.
It's funny, right? I mean, these are just real life example between us.
Our emotional attachment to things.
So back to the original discussion on comfort food was that, so for example, mine is like potato chips. So I have this satisfaction when I eat, like I feel happy. So that is the attachment that I want. So sometimes it's not because of the food, but rather I'm perhaps craving for happiness and I go to the food. However, if I could understand that actually happiness is from within, I don't have to go to the food, and so that cycle could stop by dealing with my internal emotions. So this is like one of the example of our attachment to emotions and food in particular.
So there is also a very fine line, right, between having low self-esteem and feeling bad about yourself. But we've also talked about the opposite end where there are egotistical idiots out there who are then like, oh, I'm so important, I'm so rah, roll out, worship the ground that I walk on. What about those people? How can we not swing all the way to that end then? I mean, it's great to feel confident about yourself, but there is that fine line between confidence and arrogance, I feel.
Yeah.
So how do we not slip over to the other side then?
Well, I feel that confidence is really you feel it internally. Arrogance is more like putting on a front and a strong mask to cover the inadequacy that we feel somewhere within us. How do we not fall to the other side, so-called, of arrogance? Well, I guess to be very aware of your own feelings. Like, where are you coming from when you say this? Are you coming from the, feeling full and think that I'm really good at this thing, or it's more like I want to prove to you that I'm good at this thing? It's a very thin line, as you said, how it takes a lot of awareness to feel it in your body, like how it feels, and from your heart, like, am I sincere when I say this? Is it genuine, or is it just something you pluck from your head to make it sound good?
Okay.
Yeah.
So no matter what, it still boils down to psychology, how you think about yourself. And it shows how strong the mind is. Yeah. We are our own prison masters, inmates, everything, right? So knowing that, I think, is one step. It's very good that we are conscious about it. So that's why, but we do need to break out of the cycle. So which is why next week we will still have Elies with us, and she will then talk about how you can find your own inner worth and let it shine. Shine bright like a diamond. Okay, so thank you, Elies.
Thank you, Melissa.
We'll see you guys next week.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.